Hi, I just wanted to do a quick follow-up to the video I posted yesterday, which was the 2016 DIY planner and planner musings. I got a message from, oh, what was her name? I want to say it was Pearl, and she talked about her own notebook or her own planner and how it kind of like transformed into a catch-all for everything, and it was a really good way to like have her whole experience in one book, which is kind of what I was envisioning for this. And last night before I read her comment, I was kind of thinking about that. Like, this is compact enough that I could carry it everywhere. It could be like my catch-all for everything, for anything. And I was also thinking last night about how I wanted to do some goal setting, and I missed that from the Women's Success Planner. So in the Women's Success Planner, I'm just going to grab one of them. I had saved them, right? They come in these beautiful bound books, and there are several things about these planners that I really like. And one of them is like the goal setting stuff. And so like at the beginning of each quarter, there's a section on goal setting, and then you have your monthly stuff, and you can see the video. I went really in depth with it, and there was a lot of stuff that I really liked about this planner. And it's just a little too much for me at this point, but I do miss the goal setting stuff. And I was kind of thinking last night, like, what were my goals for 2015? Did I even meet them? And I know I wrote them somewhere, but I don't know where that is. And I don't know if I met them because I don't really remember specifically what they were. And so that got me kind of down the rabbit hole of goal setting. And so I guess that's going to be like what the focus of this video is going to be about, and how to integrate that into your own do-it-yourself planner. And so I kind of thought about the Women's Success Planner. I grabbed my old books that I had, and I don't know if she's updated that stuff since then. I went online and I searched for some stuff on SMART goals, which I had remembered. I had done something around that with my 2015 goals. And it's like, I know that before, when I had the Women's Success Planner, because I can look at it, I had certain goals, and I was able to like check in every quarter to see how I was progressing to those goals. And it was just kind of like a reminder that, hey, you have these goals, you're trying to reach them, what are you doing to do that, and are you tracking it? And so I made like a mix of things I found on the internet and of the Women's Success Planner stuff, because I thought it was good. And I thought, I don't want to spend 2016 like spend the time making goals and then never revisiting them again, or like never having a way to check in or track them. And I need to make it something that it's like it's something built into my planner, so that when I see it, I do it. And so I kind of took some ideas and I came up with what I've got. So first thing, in the beginning of my planner, I have now started to fill out the table of contents. So this was like, this started to come about. So I've got pages 2 to whatever, and I don't think I mentioned this yesterday, but the pages are numbered on the bottom of these, already pre-numbered. And so I've just started to lay out, okay, like what would be useful for me. So I just put out the months in the year. This is where I have my monthly calendars. I put in where I've got my yearly goals for the first quarter. I created a goal tracker for myself, and I'm up to like January 2016. And so I'm going to fill this in with months, and then anything significant like the goal tracker, so that if I for some reason don't know where it is, or just a quick reference, it's there for me. So I started using the table of contents just yesterday, of course, after I made my video. So this is this week, and I had created my spread all the way through to January 2nd. And as soon as I finished doing this, I'm like, oh, I should have thought of this ahead of time, because it would have been smarter for me to think of it that way, but I didn't. I should have started on this page and just covered this up. But anyway, that's like a minor detail that doesn't really matter. The thing is functional. So what I did was I took the Women's Success Choice Planner stuff, and so she has like a brainstorming section. And so I basically just retyped it into a Google Doc, and I started to fill it out, but I'm not quite done with that. So this is just brainstorming some things that you want to stop doing, that you want to start doing. You can see my my video on the Women's Success Choice Planner. Just search my channel and you'll find it. But anyway, there's a brainstorming sheet. And then a time waster sheet, or a time waster list, like what are things that waste your time. Then this is what I got from other websites. So I created this and I put this in a document and I actually like printed it out and I cut it down so that it would fit in my book, and then I just glue sticked it in. But I have like your goal planner, and now I have this sheet in a computer file so that I can just print it out whenever I want it. And I printed out and I showed my husband, and he actually wanted a packet of them. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So this is a conglomeration of multiple things that I was looking up, and I made this chart based on like 3 different charts that I put together. And so these were the areas of balance that she talks about in the Women's Success Choice Planner, and then this is stuff for SMART goals. And there's a ton of stuff out there. There's lots of blank worksheets and stuff, and like I said, these were 3 charts that I then retyped. One of them was like alternatives to what like the SMART acronym stands for, and I liked the alternatives because it makes it a little more flexible, and so I took that chart. This was a description of SMART goals, each of the acronyms, and then this was like questions to ask yourself when you're creating a SMART goal. And so my goal was to create SMART goals for each of these areas of my life. So then I found this chart after looking through a ton of different charts. I thought, I like this one because you have a draft of a goal, and then like these are where you detail out the different areas or the different aspects of the goal. And so I would look at this chart and go, okay, so I'm asking myself these questions, and then I'm going to answer them about these goals, so that I know that I'm creating a SMART goal. I'm starting with a draft of a goal, and now I'm honing it. And then I also liked this chart had obstacles and solutions, and then the final goal where you actually write out a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Because when I've created goals in the past, and I remember this about my 2015 goals, that I used the SMART goal thing because I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And we do this with our students actually at our school. There's a ton of stuff around goal setting. We work with like at-risk students, a lot of students that haven't been in school for years, and we create goals for them because we all know that goals like drive us to do, you know, better, to achieve. And the goals that we create with them are like a SMART goal. I think we should actually use this, but they're very specific, and you have to have things that are measurable over time, not just like, I want to do better in school. Well, what does that mean? Now we whittle it down to maybe I want to get an A in my English class, you know, for the first 2 weeks of school, or something like that. And then once you've met that goal, now we create another goal. So I liked this, so I printed this chart out for each of the 8 areas, and I don't know how well it will work, but we're going to try it. I'm going to try it. And I just wrote at the top what those areas were. And then she has the vision, like now you're rereading your goals and you're identifying the 3 most important, because really it's hard to work on, you know, 8 goals at once sometimes, when, especially if it's a big goal. And you're busy, right? And it's hard to keep on track with that stuff. And then she has the next step. Each month identify well, I kind of reworded this so that it fit what I was doing. Each month identify the next specific steps to make these goals a reality. Check progress towards your goals. And so what I did was I just created a chart, and I don't know how this is going to work. I knew that I needed some way to check in with my goals every month. And in the Women's Success Choice Planner, she has that built in with the monthly calendar. And I'm not really using a monthly calendar like that. I'm using my weekly spread. And so what I'm going to do is each month, at the end of the month, I'm going to come back to this page, and I've listed the areas for the goals at the top and then the months down here. And I'm going to make some note about my progress toward that goal. Even if I've made no progress toward that goal, I want to see it. And I thought about doing it like a month at a time, but I like the idea of looking at the whole year and all of it together. Because let's say, for example, that I set a spirituality or a values goal, but I never really work towards that. That will tell me multiple things, like that wasn't a good goal, wasn't important. Maybe I don't need to set a goal in that area of my life for next year. Or let's say that, I've been working towards something, continuously, like I can see my progress towards that. Or let's say, for example, my educational goal is really important to me, but every month I'm never really able to fill in something solid, like an actual actionable step that I've taken towards achieving that goal. I want to have like a visual record of it. I'm a visual person. I like to see progress. And I don't think like a daily tracker or even a weekly tracker is going to do it for me. My thought is that I'm going to check in with my goals every month, and I'm going to create action steps that I need to take, and I might use some pages in here to like do some planning. Like, okay, so now that I have these goals that I've honed down into something that's actually doable and measurable, and I can like not just, I want to get in shape. Well, what does that mean? More specific would be, I want to be able to run a 5K in the next 4 months. That is, that's like doable, right? So I think what I'm going to do, I have these, and as I'm talking this out, I might look online for like an action plan of sorts, where I can take each goal and then break it down into specific action plans, like where I have steps that are actionable, like broken down into pieces, so that like for January I can say, okay, so let's say my goal is to run a 5K in 4 months. Maybe my first step is that I'm going to, start walking every single day for 30 minutes or something. I don't know what, I would have to look up how do you train for a 5K, but you know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's my first step in January. Maybe let's say I'm going to take a whole year to run a 5K. So the first step might just be getting in the habit of walking every day for 30 minutes. And then maybe I can check in with that goal and say, walked every day for 30 minutes, or, met my step, my actionable step that I created for that goal. And I think that I'm definitely like a driven person, and I like to have goals, and I like to have a plan. Obviously, right? I like to have a plan. And when I have a plan, I usually follow it. And it's like the drive to complete what I have set out for myself. And I think maybe in my personal life, I have a motivation to do that, because in my professional life as a teacher, if you're a teacher, you understand, you will have a plan. And if you actually get through that plan for the day, it's been an incredibly productive day. But 9 times out of 10, you either don't get through the whole plan, or it gets drawn off course, or you realize the plan you've created is not the one that you needed. And so I like the idea of doing this for myself, so I have a way to hold myself accountable and to assess myself each step of the way. So maybe I will do a video series on goal planning, but this is the first quarter setup, and so this is what I'm going to do, just starting with brainstorming and going into now actually creating a SMART goal, and then having a way to assess and track my progress towards that goal. That was definitely missing from 2015 for me, and I know I set some really great goals, but I don't even know if I achieved them, because I don't remember what they were specifically. I remember some vague ideas, but there are really some areas of my life, and I don't remember what those goals were. So, I think I need to track that. And these categories, these were just in the Women's Success Choice Planner. You could create your own categories, and I remember the categories I set for 2015 were not exactly these. They were different because I had gotten them from some other place. So what I did was I created this, and then on the next page I just redrew my calendar for January 1st through the 3rd, and I changed it to the January calendar, and then I will create my spread beyond this. And so what I envision is, so what else I've done is on the next page, so I have my monthly planner here. On the next page, I've written myself little stickies. So like on June 30th, print my third quarter mid-year planning. For November 30th, print my 4th quarter year-end review. And I already added it to my calendar in March to print my second quarter check-in. So I've written my reminders on my calendar. I will just print those up and tape them in here so that I can keep track of that. I think that as I'm talking, the next step is going to be to create an action plan for each goal, but I haven't quite even finished my brainstorming, so I really want to create goals that are achievable for me, because I think sometimes I have way higher ambitions than are actually possible. So I want to create some goals that are truly achievable for me so that I can feel a sense of accomplishment. And I don't want them to be so easy that it's like, oh, well, I could have easily done that. But something that's not so hard that I want to be able to accomplish it. And then part of this process is going back and revising your goals. So let's say that my goal is to run that 5K, and I give myself a year to train for that. Well, maybe I can achieve that goal in 5 months. And so now I've met the goal, and I can either just be satisfied with that for the year, that I have actually completed and achieved one of my goals for the year, and I can go back and revise that goal to now say, okay, I'm going to run 3Ks in this year, since I've already achieved that first one, and now I'm going to revise that goal to say I'm going to run 3. So I really like this idea. I think that goal setting, I think planning is an integral part of this, because without a plan, like, where are you going, what are you doing? But I think that having an actual smart, not this smart, but I guess this smart, having an actual smart, thought out goal that you will honestly and objectively be able to evaluate throughout the year is critical to actually meeting a goal. Because now you know what you have to do, not just saying I'm going to get healthy, right? What does that mean? How do you know when you've done that? And then having the other piece, not just creating that, which is what I did last year, but I was missing this other piece, that not constant, but consistent and frequent assessment towards those goals, and reflection and revision of those goals. And then I think the last piece that I'm going to create once I have set these goals is to create an action plan for each one. So I will find some sort of a chart. There are tons of them online. You do not have to recreate the wheel yourself. The only reason why I had to type some stuff up is because I was combining from multiple sources, but this was just printed out exactly how I found it. Sorry. So finding an action plan for each goal and creating realistic next steps, things that are achievable. And that's something that I learned from the GTD system, getting things done, is that you can't just say, like, oh, we're going to plan a birthday party. Okay, that's the project. Now what are the actionable steps that you're going to take to make that happen? And that's where you list out everything that is very specific and it is doable, and it's like to the point where you can check it off because it is an action that you can take. And that, I think, is a critical piece as well, because that's gonna, that plan that I create and being able to check those off, that's how I'm going to know if I am on track to completing my goals. Like, am I making real measurable progress towards meeting those goals? So that's where I'm headed. If you are interested in this this set of documents, I don't know how I can get those to you. I am not, I don't know. You can email me. Maybe I can email them to you, email the files to you, so that you will, you can have them and you can print them out. I just printed them on, like, I think it was 5x8 or A5 or something like that, and I just cut them down and glue stick them in. So I guess this video was really more about goal setting and doing goal setting within your own DIY planner. And I hope that you found this helpful. Again, I think that it's hard to make progress if we don't know what we're working towards, and we have to have very defined objectives and steps to work towards. Otherwise, how do we know we're really making that progress? So I think that makes sense. So I hope that you found this useful. I hope that you do some, you look up some things, or you contact me if you like, these sheets. I'm not saying they're the best, but they made sense to me. And it was, I was just pulling from some different sources because I felt the need to do this because I realized this was missing from my planner, and I needed that. And Pearl, I think that was her name, she kind of, as soon as I finished this, I saw Pearl's comment. I'm like, oh my gosh, Pearl, that's how I'm feeling about this book. That's what I'm thinking. And I think the more that I put into this book and the more that I make it something that is meaningful to me, the less I will feel tempted by other planners out there to buy them or to even look at them, because this is now becoming like a really important book to me. So again, I hope you found this useful. I've rambled enough, and thank you so much for liking and subscribing, and as always, I appreciate your comments, and I hope you have happy holidays. Bye!